Dear students, as you know, we are discussing kinematics, and our today's topic is multiplication of vector by a scalar, or multiplication of vector by any real number. So when we multiply a vector, say for example vector A by a real number n, it becomes another vector ne, whose magnitude is n times the magnitude of A and whose direction is same or opposite as that of A. For example, if a vector A is multiplied by a number 2, real number 2, we get 2A, which is a vector whose magnitude is twice as that of A and whose direction is same as that of A. For example, if this vector A, if it is represented by a line of 2 centimeter, then a vector 2A will be represented by a line of 4 centimeter. If vector A is represented by a line of 2 centimeter, then vector 2A will be represented by a line of 4 centimeter. But both the lines will have the same direction. They will have the same direction. Now, if we multiply a vector A by another number, that is minus 2, as you are aware of real numbers. So if we multiply it by minus 2, we get a vector that is minus 2A, which is a vector whose magnitude is again twice as that of A and whose direction is opposite to A. What does it mean? It means that if again a vector A is represented by a line of 2 centimeter, then vector minus 2A will also be represented by a line of minus 4 centimeter, because its magnitude will be 2 times of that of A, but the direction will be opposite. If the direction of vector A is from east to west, then the direction of vector minus 2A will be from west to east. Directions will be opposite, magnitude will be twice. Now, the unit of NA is the same as that of A. For example, if A is a velocity, then NA will also be a velocity. If A is a force, then NA will also be a force. It cannot be velocity. So by saying that unit of NA is the same as that of A means both the vectors are of the same nature. If A is velocity, then NA will also be velocity. If A is force, NA will also be a force. Now let us take another topic, that is multiplication of vector by a scalar. For example, if we multiply a vector A by a scalar S, it becomes another vector SA, whose magnitude is S times the magnitude of A and whose direction is same as that of A. For example, when an acceleration vector A, we know that acceleration is a vector, it has got both magnitude and direction. So acceleration A is a vector. If we multiply it by a scalar of mass m, so acceleration A is a vector, mass is a scalar. If we multiply these two quantities, what do we get? We get a force, that is another vector F. So F is equal to m into A. So when a vector A is multiplied by a scalar mass m, we get force F. Similarly, when a velocity vector v is multiplied by a scalar mass m, it becomes a vector momentum vector p. That is p is equal to m into v. So when mass is multiplied by velocity, we get momentum p. Now what about the unit? The unit of SA is different from that of A. In the first case, when we multiplied a vector A by a real number, then their units were same. But here, when we multiply a vector by a scalar, the units are different. So SA is different from A. The vector we get SA, that is different from A, which means that they are of different natures. So if A is a velocity, then SA cannot be a velocity, it can be another vector which is different from that of A, or that which is different from S scalar. Now we have another topic, that is addition and subtraction of vectors. Before doing that, let me tell you about composition of vectors. What is composition of vectors? We will have to discuss another topic, the reverse process of composition, that is resolution of vectors. We will discuss it later on. Now, in this chapter, in this topic, we will discuss composition of vectors. The process of finding the resultant vector from two or more component vectors is called composition of vectors. The process of finding, so what we have to do, we have to find a resultant vector. A resultant vector will be a single vector. We have to find that from two or more vectors. If we are given 2, 3, 4 vectors, we have to find the resultant. That process, the process by which we find the resultant, is known as composition of vectors. Now, what is a resultant vector? The resultant vector of two or more vectors is a single vector, which produces the same effect as the individual vectors together do. For example, let me tell you that if there are 2, 3 persons pulling a rock, then the 3 persons will apply a force, different force, F1, F2, F3. Then another person comes, he alone pulls the rock, then the single person is called a resultant vector. Similarly, so scalar quantities can be added up algebraically. Scalar quantities, as we have already discussed it, scalar quantities can be added up algebraically as mass, for example, of 50 gram plus 30 gram is equal to 80 gram. It is simple algebraical addition. Similarly, length of 20 meter plus 30 meter is equal to 50 meter. It is simple algebraical addition. And similarly, 10 second plus 40 second is equal to 50 second. Vector quantities can be added, subtracted algebraically only when they are in the same or opposite direction. If they are in the same or opposite direction, we can add or subtract them, but if they are in different directions, then they cannot be added algebraically. For example, we have two vectors A and B having magnitudes of 4 centimeter and 2 centimeter. So they are in the same direction, we can add them algebraically. That is, the magnitude of the resultant will be A plus B, that is 6 centimeter, 4 plus 2 centimeter, that is 6 centimeter, because they are in the same direction. Similarly, if they are in the opposite direction, we can subtract them. Suppose a vector A is having a magnitude of 4 centimeter and vector B is having a magnitude of 2 centimeter. They are in opposite direction. Then the resultant will be 2 centimeter. That is 4 minus 2. So vectors can be added algebraically only when they are in the same direction or in the opposite direction. Now, if they are in different directions, what shall we do? Suppose that a particle initially at point A undergoes a displacement of 4 meter towards the east, as you can see from the figure, and then another displacement of 3 meter towards the north. From A to B, it undergoes a displacement of 4 meter, and from B to C, A to B is towards east and B to C is towards north, 3 meter. Here we cannot say that the resultant displacement will be equal to 4 plus 3 meter, that is 7 meter. So let these displacements be represented by A and B on some suitable scale. Say 1 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. Then the magnitude of A and B are 4 meter and 3 meter respectively. The magnitude of the resultant R of the particle is given by using Pythagoras theorem, that R square is equal to A square plus B square. Hypotenuse square is equal to B square plus perpendicular square. So R will be equal to under root of A square plus B square. That's R is 4 square plus 3 square. R is equal to 16 plus 9, which means R is under root of 25. So ultimately we get R is equal to 5 meter. Here the magnitude of R is not equal to 4 plus 3 meter, as we in case of when they were in the same direction or in opposite direction should have been 7 meters, but they are the magnitude of resultant is not 7 meter, it is 5 meter. Now, and the angle theta, which gives the direction of R, is neither towards north nor towards east, but due north of east, which means that in the when they were in the same direction or in the opposite direction, the direction of the resultant was also the same of that of A or B. Now here it is neither in the direction of A nor in the direction of B, but it is in a different direction from A and B. This shows that vectors cannot be added by simple laws of algebra. We also see that the result R produces the same effect as A and B together do. That is, R takes us to point C and A and B are together take us to the same point C. Vector A and vector B takes us to point C, but R alone takes us to point C. So it produces the same effect as A and B together do. Now rules for addition of vectors. For the addition of two or more vectors, what we have to do, represent these vectors by arrowed lines using the same suitable scale. Displace the second vector such that its tail coincides with the head of the first vector. Then draw a single vector, and the single vector drawn from the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector represents their resultant vector. Now if there are three vectors, so what we have to do, if you are asked to add the two vectors, you have to draw a first vector, suppose A, then you have to draw the second vector using say the same suitable scale B, then displace the vector B such that its tail coincides with the head of the vector A. Then draw a single line from the tail of the vector A to the head of the vector B, and you will get a resultant vector. Similarly, in case of three vectors, coincide the tail of the third vector with the head of the second vector. Then draw a single vector from the tail of the first vector to the head of the third vector, that is C. So that we get their resultant vector. When the two vectors are acting in the same direction, suppose we have two vectors A and B, they are acting in the same direction, as you can see from the figure. Now what we have to do, we have two vectors A, you can see from the figure, and B of different magnitudes and acting in the same direction. Now coincide the tail of B with the head of A, as in case of second line. You can see from second line I have coincided the tail of B with the head of A. Now what we have to do in third setup, we have to draw a line from the tail of A to the head of B. So this line will represent the result of A and B. That is R is equal to A plus B. Now the direction of R is same as that of A or B because they are in the same direction. So R will be in the same direction as that of A or B. This was case first. Now case second is when the two vectors are acting in the opposite direction. Suppose let us again consider two vectors A and B having different magnitudes and opposite direction as shown in figure. Now coincide the what we have to rule tells us that we have to coincide the tail of B with the head of B. With the head of A, it is A here. We have to coincide the tail of B with the head of A. Coincide the tail of B with the head of B, as you can see from second line. Here the tail of B coincides the head of B. The tail of B coincides with the head of A. So then what we have to do? We have to draw a single line from the tail of A to the head of B. So from the tail of A, it is from here to this red line. So this will be the R. We have to draw a single line from the tail of A to the head of B. Head of B is here, so it will be R. So the resultant R gives the resultant vector, that is R is equal to A plus B, and it will be as. So the direction of R will be, since A and B are in opposite direction, what will be the direction of R? Will it be in the direction of A? They have different directions, opposite directions. Will R be in the direction of A or in the direction of B? So we have to see which is the bigger vector. If A is bigger than B, then R will be in the direction of A, and if B is the bigger vector than A, then R will be in the direction of B. So in this case, as you can see from the figure, A is bigger than B, so R will be in the direction of A. And the magnitude of R is equal to difference of the magnitudes of A and B. In first case, when they were in the same direction, the magnitude of R was equal to the sum of the magnitudes of A and B. Now in the second case, it will be equal to the difference of the magnitudes of A and B. So R will be equal to magnitude of A minus magnitude of B. If A is greater than B, and R will be equal to B minus A if B is greater than A. So there is triangle of vectors. I think this will be enough for today. So triangle of vectors we will discuss tomorrow.